Hello. Let me do a rambling ill-lit video on reviews. Just the general idea of reviews, which I am, as always, still struggling with. If what I do when I talk about a book on my channel, when I say, "Hey, I'm going to review Stoner," what does actually that mean? Um, Both for my channel and just sort of how I do it, whether I'm helping with any conversation, whether I'm just helping myself. Um, so yeah, I will read a book and then I'll make some notes and I'll kind of come up with points. And if I can come up with points and I feel like, I've got stuff I want to talk about of a book, I'll do what I call a review where, you know, I'll give you the title, the author, when it was published. Um, I try and give like sort of a synopsis of the book to kind of a general idea. I'm trying to get better at this, of just giving a general synopsis of the book and then sort of just trying to jump into the points that I want to talk about with the book. So especially at the beginning of my stuff, I felt like I needed to tell the entire book. Now I try and do more of a synopsis. And it's not so much that I'm trying to avoid spoilers, because I don't really care about spoilers, because I want to talk about the book. And, for me, that most of that is pretty fair game. I mean, I don't say, and this is how the mystery was solved, and this is who the murderer was. I mean, I don't review that kind of books, but I'm not that much of an asshole, but I'll talk about the things in the book that bugged me, that impressed me, that resonated with me. I'll try and do all of those in whatever I call a review. It's nothing. I never, it's one of these things of like, sometimes I think at the beginning I felt like, oh, I need to be comprehensive. I need to get all the points. And I've quickly realized that A, I probably don't have that many points to say in a book. And B, that you can really winnow it down. I still find nowadays that I'll look at my reviews and it'll be a 12-minute long review, and I'll finally have gotten to the point at like minute 8 when, most people have long since stopped listening, where it's like, oh, this is where I made the discovery. I mean, sometimes it takes me that 8 minutes to get there because I'm still working out a book as I'm talking on camera. I'm not somebody who scripts my reviews. There's something that I really appreciate of being able to talk and kind of work things out loud on camera. And I think it's what I find the most interesting about being on camera is that working it out as I go along. And I mean, sometimes I don't work it out. Sometimes they're just real failures. But there's enough times where I go, oh, that's what that was, that I really enjoy capturing on camera. I don't know if that's something that interests other people, but that's what interests me for doing it. Is kind of having general points, having these things, stuff that bugs me, and then sort of sitting and having a chat about a book for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and seeing what comes out. That, I think, is what I like doing in a review. And maybe I should just call it a book chat. I mean, I call it a review and I'll probably continue calling it a review, but really it's just me like chatting about this book. I'm not giving you, so review is very much, oh, I'm going to take in the entire scope of the book, maybe the entire scope of the author's career, the general survey of literature in 1965 when Stoner by John Williams was published. That's what a actual reviewer. That's what maybe someone like Steve Donahue or other professional reviewers would be expected to do in newspapers. And I would expect, and I would get a lot of information about that, get a lot of value out of that. That's not what I'm doing. My review is my review of how I took in this book. And maybe in the course of the book, I was like, what the hell was going on at this point? And it's like, I'll have done some Wikipedia scholarship, but I can also just do reviews, which is just strictly me telling you what I thought about the book, how it resonated with me, what were the bumps, what were the just beautiful, smooth, perfect parts of it, or why I hate read the entire book. That I'm reviewing my own response to a book, which, this is why I'm not a professional reviewer, because that's not what you go to a professional reviewer for. You go for that big scope, that big, slightly not impersonal, but wider view of the book. See, the review police are coming to take me away, because they've heard that I'm just a personal blatherer. Um, so yeah, that's what a review is to me. Um, and I also, in my reviews, I don't give star ratings. I just talk about the book, and um, I'm not here as a resource for people like yay or nay about a book. It's more, this is what I thought about the book and this is what came up. And sometimes I can have books that maybe I didn't enjoy myself that much, but I have a lot to say about. Um, but and I'll probably express that within a review of like, I really had a hard time in this book. And but, not to be precious, but I just don't find star ratings that useful, and I don't find that really adds to my understanding of how I felt about a book, giving it a star rating. So I leave that out of review. Um, there's sometimes, if I'm very enthusiastic about a book or I'm very negative about a book, I try and put that tone, allow that tone to come up at the start of the review, so people kind of have kind of an idea of where I'm coming from and what's liable to be coming up in a thing. There's plenty of books where I don't know where I'm at when I start a review. I've got a lot of points, and maybe I've got hints of where I'm going to go, but sometimes, like, wow, it takes over, and suddenly opinions kick in, and I can't give you the preview, because that's just the nature of how my process goes when I'm talking about books. Um, but yeah, I do try and improve my reviewing skills. I try and learn from my betters. There are a lot of really capable booktubers out there who've done videos, or how to review books, and just sort of ask, synopsis of, like, basically kind of a who, what, when, where, why. Uh, and that's being a really good way of just generating a synopsis. Trying to divide the book up into the different components of characters, of language, of plot, of setting, and whatever other considerations are important for you. And I try and do that because I do find it actually kind of helps me understand a book better. I can get very focused. For me, I think I can get very focused on character, to the point where I won't notice, oh, there was no plot in this one, or I'll get so focused on characters, it's like, wow, yeah, this is really rudimentary writing, but the characters were great. So I have to kind of not to guard against that, but to hopefully expand on how this novel had an effect on me. Because even if I don't notice all those other things, all those things are there, and they do have an effect on my read of a book. So to try and, which is hopefully helps me be a better reader, at least maybe on reflection, which is what most book reviews are. So yeah, this is yet another example of just a long, rambly way of saying this is sort of my reviews. Beware. It's very much a work in progress as I press record, and I'm never certain exactly what comes out. And I'm a bad editor, so a lot of reviews I should have just tossed in the bin and never released that I released. And actually, sometimes the worse they are, the more I just give up and don't edit them at all, and I just release them and just let it go, because it's like, well, I'm not going to get any better than that. That was my shot at it, and I'll go on. Usually, very rarely are there second takes in my reviews, I find, because it is that response thing that I'm trying to get at with my reviews. It's a reader response video as much as it's a reader review video. So I figured I'd just share that. All right, more videos later.